Сайн байцгаана уу хүн төлөгчтэй. Өнөөдөр манай de facto нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Америкийн нэгдсэн улсын Жарвис Интернейшнл компани зөвлөх ноён Ларри Уайт оролцож байна.
Ларри Уайт, Америк нэгдсэн улсын Жарвис Интернейшнл компани зөвлөх. Тэрээр хөдөө аж ахуйн салбарт 50 гаруй жил тасралтгүй ажиллаж байгаа бөгөөд 6 төвийн 70 гаруй оронтой худалдаа хийж ажиллажээ. Жарвис Монголиа компани хөдөө аж ахуй агро бизнесийн зөвлөхийн үргийг давхар гүйцэтгэж байна. Америк нэгдсэн улсын хойд Дакота дахь Уайтийн Ангус үхэр үржүүлгийн төвийн үүсгэн байгуулагч бөгөөд хойд Америкийн худалдааны төвийн захирал юм а.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Please tell us what brought you to Mongolia.
Through the Jarvis International program, they asked me to come to introduce a different kind of agricultural production systems that would probably be a benefit to the environment, along with the profitability of the people within Mongolia, to make sure that you still have your culture, yet have another alternative step of a system of agriculture that you can look upon to make it more profitable.
Well, let's say a few words about Jarvis. Why Jarvis would do that?
Jarvis is a international company that supplies a lot of slaughterhouse equipment and have a lot of connections in the meat industry, and they're just putting the pieces together. A lot of the customers are looking for more livestock that have been through a feedlot in a feeding operation, so they could slaughter those kind of cattle, and that's kind of what they're after initially. But they're also looking at possibly using the grass-fed Mongolian beef into a organic product to sell that way too.
Well, then Jarvis, I understand, is almost 100 years, over 100 years old company with superb instruments, tools for slaughterhouse. And it has also a branch in Kazakhstan, in China, and now they are about to make a branch here.
Correct.
And what you say is they have brought you because you have yourself very extensive experiences in this field. Please tell us about yourself and your company.
Well, personally, my personal company that they hired is a consultant in the industry, but mine is on livestock systems and procurement of livestock genetics, and also systems within feedlot industry, and also the nutrition part of it, animal husbandry. We are planning on their agricultural production development here, like Kazakhstan was to have a full circle from grass to plate, and meaning that we would start with the planning, and we would do all the action needed to construct the facility that you would need for the feedlot. We would help with the shipping, the planning, some financial help if we can find the financing right for it. We'd also help with the shipping of the livestock if you're looking for livestock from abroad or whatever. We also have a training facility that we're planning on building in Mongolia that would actually be like a training park and a research center. There's also the final and most complete deal is that we have markets for the meat product on the other end. And Jarvis would supply that information.
And this Mongolian, your plan and project, would be more easier since you are doing that after Kazakhstan. Please tell us about the story of Kaz beef, why it became so today competitive and profitable business. When you have started and from what?
I started in Kazakhstan in 2007 and started telling the story about they were more interested in farming out on the range and having more farmland. And I said, I don't think you get enough rainfall, and the production, you wouldn't be very competitive against the rest of the world with the inputs and the cost of crop production anymore. So then I talked him into, after many trips to the egg minister, I talked him into doing a beef project that was through a company that I had formed in North Dakota called Global Beef in the Kazakhstan government. That's who started Kaz Beef. That was how it was initially put together. And it has grown because of two things, I think, especially the ability of the Angus cow to adapt to the environment is one thing, and the quality of the meat that it produces. And I think the second thing that's made it successful is that they have, the management has been largely, to start with, to help and educate. For the first years was some Americans were over there to help the project get started, to show them that way of raising cattle.
So,
and I'm not saying that yours is wrong. I'm just saying if you're going to change a system, you need the expertise sometimes available to help you educate those around you.
Exactly. It's know-how issue.
Right.
Please tell us, what is this company about today? What is the size of production? How many cows? Where do they export? And what is the share of their export in their own country's export?
I don't know what their share would be, but I know they're into Russia. We exported up to St. Petersburg, and then they have the domestic market for the rest they have. They're somewhere in the 10 to 15,000 cows and growing. I think they've just acquired another ranch that they're going to expand on, and I don't know what their plans are for the future. I've stepped back from that. I haven't followed them in the last few months, so I don't know exactly what their plans are.
But you are the person who brought first cows by plane to Kazakhstan. Tell us about that.
Yes.
Which year?
They arrived on October 12th, 2010.
Okay, arrived.
That's when they arrived.
October 12th,
Yeah.
2010.
That was the birth of the Kaz Beef program with the Angus cow.
And today there are 10 to 15,000 of them.
Yeah. That would be just mother cows, and then the calves they got, so they're probably at 25 to 30,000 somewhere in their total head.
Okay, so you have brought mother cows.
Yes, we brought mother cows.
And the bull?
Yeah, and the bulls.
Bulls.
Yeah, correct.
Now, let's say you said very interesting information for Mongolians, because Kazakhstan, Mongolia is the same terrain, relatively little. I think Kazakhstan may have even more raindrop than us. So the same field, open, grassroot. So why Angus, not other types? Tell us about the Angus, please.
My Angus. Here's how I sold Angus to the egg minister and the whole thing.
Okay.
I told him there's 3 breeds of cattle in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. Angus, Angus, and Angus.
Okay.
Okay?
Like Mercedes.
With that, I began to explain how trouble-free the Angus breed is compared to the other ones. Mm-hmm. They tend to have less trouble. They have no horns to worry about taking off the horns. They have a hide that will absorb more sunlight, and they do extremely well in the winter. They adapt very well to the environment from north to south in America. You know, they have them clear into northern Canada, which gets really cold, and then clear down to southern Texas.
Is it a hide's color issue, or it's
no?
different
I think
structure?
it's just totally that the Angus breed can adapt to it all. I think it's just
they can get more absorb solar energy.
Yeah. And they don't. There's several things. They're easier calving. They have smaller calves when they're born, and they grow fast. There's so they get more live calves. They don't have a worry about the pink eye because they have the dark pigmentation. Their hooves are black. That makes them tougher, harder. You have less foot problems than you do with a white hoof. You can find that on horses too. If you're riding a horse with a white hoof, that's the one you'll have trouble with compared to the rest of them.
Wow, why would it
Because it's softer. It's softer. That white hoof, for some reason, has softer than the darker hoof.
Well, okay. So you meet these
And
requirements.
you have no sunburnt bags or udders because the the sunlight reflects off of the snow up and burns the bags, and then they don't want the calf to suck them. You got a dark bag. You've got a black bag on these Angus cattle. There's just, our family saved about 40% on veterinary costs. The very first year we switched to Angus, went to Angus cattle back in 1964. So there's a lot of advantages, the quality of the meat, and of course now they have a great branded beef program in America called Certified Angus Beef.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and it's very renowned in all of North America. And you gotta meet certain standards to get a certified Angus beef carcass, even within the breed.
You said about the calves being smaller when it is born, but grow faster. What time frame we talk about? If it is the Angus is for meat, right?
Right.
And that the speed, how old would be the calf, and so that which weight it would be within which month?
Okay, I'm talking about probably having an animal that probably weighs, compared to a Hereford, would probably be 8 to 10 pounds. Well, it'd be about 5 kilograms lighter. Maybe 4 to 5, depending on. Usually that would be about what it'd be. It will be about the same size or bigger than the Hereford would be in America anyway, under the deal. I can tell you the weights within our own industry and that of the registered business that we were in, because we were selling genetic cattle to the other breeders in the United States is what we did, along with selling meat too also. We also fed cattle and sold meat. We expected the calf to weigh 550 kilos at 1 year of age.
Come on, it's huge, 550 kilograms.
We want 100 pounds a month. We expect 100 pounds a month.
And it
we
goes.
want a 1,200 pound animal, and I got to divide that by 2.2, but it's got to be about 550, 560 maybe even.
It's very profitable.
That's what we do with the system in America that we have implemented on our place. Actually, that's small. We've had genetic bulls this year that my brother has managed that weigh 700 kilos in a year. Not quite 700. About 680. About 680 would be.
Okay. So tell us about the genetics. What is the difference?
Well, we've done two things on that ranch. That's very unique and very what happened to the Angus breed in America, and what's made it as great a breed as it is. We've taken and culled all the bad ones all the time. We bred the best of the best through artificial insemination. So when we find the best cow in our place, we breed it to the best bull in the whole breed around the United States with the numbers that are out there. And everybody now is on a performance program called the Angus Herd Improvement Records deal, where they take all these weights, send them to the association, then we get numbers back on them to tell you which bull has done the best. So we take the best bull over here. If we think we need more milk, we put that milk figure back into the herd. If we think we need more yearling weight, we put that into the herd. Use a bull like that. So you can pick and choose around the breed with all the numbers that people have put in there to find the bull that is the most profitable for your operation.
So you are working with USDA, right?
Yes, I do that too.
And so the database of bulls, cows are general unified database in the U.S. You will find the best bulls you may find in any state, you know?
Yeah, in any state. You could do it in any state. You could find that through the American Angus Association. There is no federal tie to the Angus Association. The Angus Association stands on its own for the records that it has taken.
So the Kazakhstan Anguses grow with the same speed, 550 kilos a month?
They could and probably will. Once they get totally adapted and they use a complete optimum ration, the ration is the feed base mix that you're going to put to those cattle, they could do that.
Let's talk about this optimum ration of feed.
Okay.
What is that about?
Well, you do two things. Find out how fast you want them to grow, and you feed accordingly. You test your feed. You have it analyzed through a laboratory that tells you the amount of protein in it, the amount of energy it has, the amount of vitamins, minerals in that. Then you balance it accordingly using different feedstuffs, which maybe is over here you might be putting in corn, you might be putting in barley, you could use byproducts like dried distiller's grain, or you could be using safflower meal, sunflower meal, soybean meal, anything of there that fits that. Then you get a vitamin pack to put in it, and also a mineral pack to fit what minerals you haven't got in the feedstuffs to have a complete, total mixed ration.
Larry, you talk about now already kind of feed production to be in the place, in the country.
Yeah.
Do we have it here in Mongolia? Well, how can we make it?
Some of them have just started on a small scale. We had a guy named Jeremy, I can't even think of his last name right now. He's doing it on a small scale. He had yesterday at our seminar we had at UP here, he had some meat there off of straight Mongolian cattle that he had fed. And he's not very far off from having excellent meat. I mean, I'm not going to say your meat is wrong, but he went and did it the American way of putting in a feedlot and feeding it grain to finish it, and has cut the time frame down to, instead of 3-4 years to get it to that size, down to 2 years.
So with this sort of high productive meat farming, we need a feed factory.
Well, there's one thing you could bring in, or take the cattle to a feedlot where there is feed in the area. That's one you could do. You know, building a bigger feedlot in an area where there's more feed. You wouldn't necessarily have to have it someplace where it's dry, and you've got a lot of the nomadic herders need the grass that's out there.
So
I also think that we don't want to take away from that culture out there, but we can use that culture to take some pressure off the grass by taking those calves off of the steppe in the winter time or in the fall of the year when they're still small, and start feeding them in a different type of system. So then you have more grass. You can with more grass, the cattle will be thriftier, more healthier, and you're certainly going to have more death loss when they have more to eat.
Then what you are suggesting is a combination of nomadic culture and farming.
Right.
Like as such, like in the U.S.
Very much so.
So for a certain time, the animals go around, walk, follow better grasses in the pasture, and then in difficult or cold winter, they go to a place. Then the speed of the growth, would it be change the value chain's progress?
Yes, he found that they grow about twice as fast as they would if you left them out there.
What do you mean? It's
Well-
faster? Combination is faster growth?
Yes, about twice as fast. That's what Jeremy has found. Because they were fed.
Who's Jeremy?
Oh, this guy is up in Bhutan province or up there in Bhutan.
A
In
Bhutan.
Mongolia. Here.
He's a Mongolian.
Nope, he's an American that's doing it.
Okay, in
On
Mongolia.
a small scale, but I mean he's...
In Bulgangaimak.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so he found out the optimum kind of mixture.
Right, and he
the
started with
faith.
just a few, and now he just keeps buying and expanding and expanding. There's also another piece that we want to put with this because we know that your problem is animal health. You
Yes.
have a lot of health problems.
Yes.
And from contagious diseases. Okay? We're suggesting you get a portable corral system that you can go from place to place with and vaccinate these animals for it, so when they're all put together out there on the range and intertwangling between one another and whatever, or they're drinking out of the same stream of water and stuff, that they're vaccinated.
This you said very interesting idea. The portable kind of
Portable corral system. You can put it all together out there,
Uh-huh.
and they claim they're good horsemen, that they can do anything
Okay.
and put them in a corral. Well, that's what we do in America. I've done that many times. We have a portable corral system on our place on the pastures that are away from the
How
building.
is it to move all the things?
Very easy. Just pick it up. They're all in sections. You pick it up by hand and hang them up. Very easy.
This kind of separation system, like in the big
Yep.
sport.
And even the what we call a squeeze chute or a restraining deal to handle the cow or whatever animal you got in there, or the bull, there's a whole system behind that right there that you can just jack it up and pull it down the road behind the vehicle.
Finally, you are now have Mongolian associates, right? You work together
Yes.
with what is the name of company?
The
Mongolian company.
the Mongolian company.
Yeah, or
We're
Mongol-
trying to.
Who is your partner in Mongolia?
We have no partner for sure. We're working with Mercy Corp to set up a working relationship together to build this first park.
Okay.
That's what we're after.
You said park. Tell us about this park.
Research Center.
Okay.
We want to bring in import some cows in here using our system, using all the latest, most modern technology, and teach with that. Anybody that wants to come can learn that. Can come there and learn the system, the way we do it. We also would like some land where we would set up a rotational grazing system, so so you don't overgraze it, and see if we can regrow and regenerate the height of the steppe and the grass out there. You have overgrazed it.
Yeah, we do.
In
we have more than
America, our ranch, when we overgrazed it, we were having trouble. We finally figured it out. If we take half, leave half, we had grass like this.
You call
now
it-
we got grass like this even on the dry years, because we got a healthier root system, because we didn't destroy the plant.
this zoning system.
Yes, it
And
went further.
This is the system you, with the Mercy Corps, trying to bring to Mongolia.
That's what I'm trying to bring. So there's be an alternative way of agriculture without here that maybe somebody could use the nomadic part, yet still have
That sounds great.
the rotational deal, and also the feedlot part of it. And also we would teach them breeding. We'd teach them hands-on training, where to vaccinate. Because when you vaccinate for these diseases, you want to put the vaccine in the cheapest, most inexpensive area of the animal. So you want to vaccinate them in the neck. Things like that, just teach them basic stuff. Maybe it's dehorning, maybe because the horns bruise meat during transportation and stuff like that. We want to eliminate those things.
You said, interestingly, Angus has no horn.
No horn. We can do that naturally just because they're polled cattle. We can take the horns off of them. You don't have to worry about a dehorner.
Yeah,
Things like
wow.
that. Yeah.
This Mercy Corps which is a development non-profit corporation,
Right.
which has a good reputation in this country.
Very good.
They have been investing in bank, then took out when the bank grow from the SME to full commercial bank, they draw their shares, and with the money, the share was sold to another commercial company, but this money is coming to the new project. That's why the Mercy Corp start this sort of completely new community development in a rural areas material, and I'm so glad to learn that you are trying to do it together. What is the reaction from the the authority?
Of Mercy?
In Mongolia,
to this?
from Mongolian authority, have you met any?
Yes, a few of them, and of course we get they're worried about losing their culture. They're worried about that nomadic culture out there, and I have one thing to say about that. I don't want to take their culture away. I want to enhance their culture so they can remain that part of it, but you might have to add another piece to this so you can survive out there.
Correct.
Because you're going to have to get some management on the resources and a program, a national health program, so these cattle can be harvested and sent to other places that will consume them.
Exactly. So it is a matter of even reserving better that culture.
Exactly.
Through this way, we enrich the culture, the productivity, the living standard of these people.
Right.
Great.
Because as of now, your biggest problem is, and it happens around the world, if they don't make any money, they leave.
That's the whole thing is happening in this country.
Yeah.
Larry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For being with me to share this interesting information from the first source. And I think it will be good for many nomads.
Well, I enjoy sharing my knowledge around the world. I've been to 75 countries, and my mission and my life is not how much I accumulate, but how much I can dispense in my knowledge that I've learned along the way.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Хүн төлөвчтэй өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Монгол улсын Ангус гэж үхрийн махны үхрийн сорт юм уу нэвтрүүлэх тухай ажиллаж байгаа ноён Ларри Уайт оролцлоо. Их баярлалаа.